Chief of War Episode 7 Synopsis and Conclusion Described. Was the villagers attacked by Captain Metcalf? It's not simply that in Chief of War's 7th episode, the multi-headed monster of violence threatens to destroy the stunning islands of Hawaii. The only people who can defend their homeland from domestic threats and foreign invasions are also embroiled in a complex and combustible misunderstanding. When two strong-willed leaders, such as Kamehameha and Keoua, attempt to identify their roles in their common vision of a safe, tranquil, and united Hawaii, conflicts are inevitable. Although they may have similar goals on the surface and even in their hearts, they may not agree on the broader picture stuff. The status of Kamehameha in Kamehameha's house and court is convoluted. Kamehameha is upset at the birth of a chief's child, which is why she doesn't have the dejected and, to be honest, anxious expression on her face. Everyone in the village is ecstatic about the arrival of new life, but Kamehameha and Kamehameha are the most excited. In addition to understanding that it takes a village to raise a kid, Kamehameha's ideals include the idea that a newborn's bodily and spiritual needs must be met by the entire community. The people of 18th century Hawaii celebrated births with great fanfare. However, there's a reason why Kamehameha is avoiding all of the festivities. She carries the weight of a sobering reality that only she and her father are aware of, in addition to being sad that she has not yet produced an heir for Kamehameha. Kamehameha was informed by Tala, the prophetess, that her husband's seed would never sprout in her womb. She tells Kamehameha, who is eager for a child to arrive who will bring Hawaii and Maui together, that perhaps their turn is near, which is what really irritates her. The fact that she is a woman with a voice immediately makes her unpopular with the other chiefs. Before she tells her husband, she will need to further solidify her position in Kamehameha's politics and life. The reality. It's odd how Kamehameha gets dragged into a state of duality in every aspect of her life, whether it be her choices, her deeds, or her religion. She firmly believes in Kamehameha's commitment to peace. However, she chooses to work with the guy who thinks that only war can remove Keoua from Kohala's back as she follows Keoua as he looks for a secret location to obtain information on Keoua from the spy he sent to Keoua. Keoua might even be attempting to have him killed, based on the information he receives from his spy on Keoua security. Only if Kamehameha truly shares Keoua's beliefs would she be able to support something like this. Keoua refuses to lose without a struggle. Removing Keoua from the scene is the only practical method to prevent needless bloodshed and violence. Although Kamehameha's legislation of Mamalahoa was inspired by his genuine belief in peace and his desire to be a kind ruler, he is likely a little too Ada. Why does Kamehameha violate the Mamalahoa law? Keoua is the only one who believes they shouldn't wait around hoping Metcalf will return their kindness and good intentions. The Europeans don't consider them human, he told Kamehameha. As a token of respect, Kalaniʻōpuʻu gave his friends James Cook's bones after he was killed because bones have spiritual importance in Hawaiian culture. However, Keoua is aware that the Europeans had a different perspective. They just witnessed a group of barbarians removing their captain's flesh from his bones. On this, Kupuohi and Namake are unwilling to support Keoua. Namake's motivation might be his belief in Kamehameha as king, but Kupuohi's emotions are more nuanced. When she senses that Keoua and Kamehameha are becoming closer, she becomes uneasy. Furthermore, Keoua hasn't exactly given her grounds to believe that he harbors feelings for Kamehameha. Indeed, they are pals for the most part. More significantly, they are soulmates who have a unique understanding of one another. Her obsession with the idea that the queen in John Young's society gets to assume the throne in the lack of a male heir is entwined with her desire to become queen herself. In Kamehameha, there is something that only Keoua can relate to and support. However, given the way Keoua looks at Kamehameha when she demonstrates to him how a male would curtsy for the British Queen, there might be more to it than that. Kupuohi did have an affair with Namake, but only after she became convinced that Keoua would never return. And as a result of his adoption of European customs and his choice to violate Mamalahoa law, Kupuohi no longer recognizes her husband. It can be attributed to her worry that the beauty of her own culture and home will be lost due to the influence of the pale skin. However, Kamehameha cannot stand by while the men he knows are their foes wait to attack their territory. Thus, he resolves to care for the avaricious Europeans while they are asleep. For what reason does Captain Metcalfe assault the locals? When Kamehameha went rogue, stole a canoe, and boarded Captain Metcalfe's ship with a few warriors, he had everything to lose. He knows he must confront Kamehameha after resolving the pale skin issue, even though he has no intention of speaking to them. There's no use in attempting to reason with others. Like Marley nonetheless. Under the surface, they intend to extort native land, which is what they originally intended to do, even if they act as though they agree. When Kamehameha had Metcalfe and Marley apprehended, he was surprised to hear a conch shell. It appears like Kamehameha is aware of everything that occurs in Kohala. Given that Kamehameha has attempted to violate Mamalahoa legislation and carried out his intentions against the wishes of his chief, it is clear that he is extremely upset and dissatisfied. Even yet, Kamehameha is the epitome of a cool-headed, collected, and deferential monarch. Yes, he saves the lives of M.